I am Kesten Rono, and here we are again, here now, for day 44 of our exploration of A Course in Miracles. Thank you so much for being here. Yesterday we were sitting with the idea that God is our source, and we cannot see apart from Him. We were digesting an idea that vision, our purpose to see everything enveloped in our holiness, that vision is true. Our perspective is true to the degree that it is aligned with the purpose of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit being created by God as a way of deciphering what is made in true perfection and what is of our illusion. And true vision, it would seem, is the ability to sense, to notice, to innately understand what is true and challenge ourselves to accept what is false as false. That the Holy Spirit is somehow able to decipher this, likely with ease, providing a bridge from we, the perceivers, and God, the creator, the source of knowledge. That our true sight brings us closer to knowledge, as our true sight allows us to simply accept that all these illusions associated with the past and fear and upsets, all of the meaning that we have been busy applying to everything around us, that true vision simply accepts this for what it is, meaningless. And where something does not have meaning, we do not need to spend any time exploring it any further. Instead, we can exist outside of that meaningless. And if we are beyond meaninglessness, then we are in the realm of meaning. The true vision, or our connection with God, allows us to build with more purpose, to step into our purpose, and I would assume create from that perspective as we get closer and closer to knowledge and understanding, accepting a new perspective by perceiving everything differently, perceiving everything for its mark of God, its light, its universal purpose, its reflection of the perfection of all that creation is, which includes us, divinely linked to God as part of His mind, created in His image. When we are able to assume the perspective of our spirit identity. A lot of big ideas that supposedly once they assimilate, which this book was saying is guaranteed, we cannot fail. Big ideas, quote unquote big, that upon settling truly would mean that we are seeing ourselves and everything around us and everyone with whom we interact and our purpose in life and what we value, how we value ourselves, enhancing our desire to create and worship and forgive and love. We would be truly different than any way we have ever been. And this path does not require any sacrifice. It may only bless. That from this lens, we would feel that we have given up nothing. What would we have sacrificed if it seems it's going to cost us everything? If it is costing us everything, then it is costing us only our illusions. If what is left over is only truth that we see, that we have sacrificed our illusions, which is nothing. We've truly sacrificed nothing in the most direct sense. That to see may only bless. So may we step into part of the function of the Holy Spirit and accept that there are illusions, that they are the antithesis of whatever it is to build with love and truth, and that we have a mindset of love and appreciation and open-mindedness, that we are allowing ourselves to have a miracle-ready mind so that we may notice and participate in the natural flow, the healing process, the path to knowledge, perfect peace, perfect safety, freedom from worry that may exist, which we are told we will definitely discover if we continue, that may exist on the other side of releasing our upsets, our attack thoughts, the shapes and meaning we've been applying to everything around us. So we may see them differently. And if we see them differently, then we are seeing differently. And we may notice that they carry a different purpose than we'd ever been able to understand, given our limited perception of the past and our perspective colored by illusions. May we enjoy releasing these things, setting them aside, finding new strength and an ease in forgiving our brothers and ourselves. Okay, principle 44. A miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement, his capital atonement capital. I'm not sure if we've heard the word Christ yet. We've heard Son of God, to which we've been equated. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. Atonement is the undoing, the point at which an interlocking chain of forgiveness has been complete. His atonement, Christ's atonement, the Son of God, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that Christ's atonement, possibly the story of his death, who knows, that his process of forgiveness, his interlocking chain, or his individual desire to forgive. Remember that offering forgiveness or a blessing is strengthening to both the giver and the receiver, that Christ has given us something in his model, in his atonement. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. Will we accept that Christ has done some great undoing, marked by an idea of love and forgiveness, that he has set the example? Can we accept this? If we're interested in miracles, we're being asked to have some inner awareness, possibly the invisible again, something inside of us, whatever it is that we are, having an awareness within our own minds of Christ. I've definitely become more curious of what it is like to be Christ-like, not specifically Christian in the practicing sense, but what it is like to be Christ-like. What would it be like to be the Son of God, connected to God, experiencing life with its beauty and its pain, seeing its pain as a beautiful opportunity to experience, having knowledge or moving closer to knowledge, participating more fluidly in a process of miracles, practicing acceptance, modeling atonement, forgiveness, creating the way for us to accept his atonement, his forgiveness. The miracle is an expression. All expressions of love are maximal. That was our day one, scanning my mind for expression. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ. The miracle is expressing some inner awareness of Christ, some divine connection, as all minds are linked, some inner awareness, some idea that Christ does live. The idea of Christ can be permeating into our mind's eye, that we are aware of what it is that Christ is, and we accept his undoing, his atonement, his forgiveness. Sitting with that idea feels peaceful. And where we have ease, we do not have dis-ease. So perhaps this peace, just in its own recognition, this acceptance, seeing this expression or being curious about it, perhaps this is already healing, moving us somewhere into the invisible in our minds. Lesson 44. God is the light in which I see. Reviewing again, starting with lesson 40, I am blessed as a son of God. God goes with me wherever I go. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. And today, God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which you see. God, love, the light in which we see. That's interesting. We say that our holiness envelops everything we see, and yet everything we see is also within God's light. His light is somehow illuminating or enveloping everything we see. That God's light is the arena in which we see, and yet everything that we see in this arena is also enveloped in our holiness. That we are a miracle. That we are the sons of God. That we are perceiving and seeing for God, where God is the realm of knowledge. But there is something very special to be a son of God, to perceive and to have the opportunity to see this link with the Holy Spirit moving closer to God all the time, to knowledge, his realm. That he is the total light from which we are created, in which we are enveloped, in which we are creating. That God is my source, and I cannot see apart from him, because God is the light in which I see. Today we are continuing the idea for yesterday, adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot make light. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot make light. You can make darkness, and then think you see in it, but light reflects life, and is therefore an aspect of creation. Okay, so we can make darkness, but we cannot make light. And we can trick ourselves in the darkness where we cannot see to believe that we can see in it. But light is the reflection of life. Light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist. Well, that would make sense if light reflects life. And light is an aspect of creation. Creation or light cannot exist where darkness does. They cannot coexist. But light and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. Okay, so light and life not necessarily being synonymous here, that one reflects the other. They must go together and cannot coexist with darkness. We can create darkness, but we cannot create life or light. Yeah, we cannot make light. So we're allowed to create darkness. Our sickness, our illness, our illusions, a place in which we cannot see. And if we are believing that we are seeing, we're protesting and saying, no, see, I can see in here. We are simply living in darkness. That light and true life cannot coexist with this darkness which we can create. In order to see, you must recognize that light is within, not without. Again, without was a term that they were using in the past to represent outside of our body. I love this idea, within, without. You do not see outside yourself, nor is the equipment for seeing outside you. An essential part of this equipment is the light that makes seeing possible. It is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. Okay, we can make darkness. We can believe that that darkness allows us to see, but we would be living in illusion. If we can admit that there is darkness, we will know that there is no light or life, that light reflects life and cannot coexist with darkness. To discover light, we must turn within, that the faculties to do so are not outside of us. That the equipment, in order to be able to see whatever that is partially made up of the light that makes seeing possible. So there's innately light in whatever the process or tooling is that allows us to see. And that we can find this light if we look within. It's not something that we can create. It is something that is fundamentally a part of us, that is with us always. God is the light in which I see. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. This light of which God is, that keeps me from seeing apart from him ever, is with me always, making vision possible in every circumstance. Today we are going to attempt to reach that light. For this purpose, we will use a form of exercise which has been suggested before and which we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind and represents a major goal of mind training. It requires precisely what the untrained mind lacks. I'm having deja vu. One thing that a mind that is seeing in darkness, claiming to see in darkness, what it lacks is an awareness of the expression of Christ, an acceptance of his atonement. It's lacking some fundamental awareness of the light that is with us always. It requires this exercise, precisely what the untrained mind lacks. Yet this training must be accomplished if you are to see. Have at least 3 practice periods today, each lasting 3 to 5 minutes. A longer time is highly recommended, but only if you find the time slipping by with little or no sense of strain. Okay? Once we're inside of this practice, at least 3 times for at least 3 minutes, we can continue longer, something that I've wanted to do. Although I admit that if I'm too sleepy or my mind wanders, I have to utilize the instructions of the exercise and essentially start over, as we've been told yesterday. So if it's very simple, we're entering into some kind of timelessness where time is moving by and we are unaware of it, then we are okay to continue. We do not want to be straining. This should be done with ease. We are trying to create ease, so we give life to the idea of ease. The form of practice we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most unnatural and difficult for the untrained mind. That's really cool. We are learning something that will be effortless for us in some time. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. You are quite ready to learn the form of exercise we will use today, but you may find that you will encounter strong resistance. Pretty cool. We are being given a nod on day 44, where we have been told our perception is tiny in the past. And now we're getting a little pat on the back that says, you are not wholly untrained anymore. That we've made some kind of progress, not in the name of pride, but it is exciting to know that we are progressing, at least by number we could see here, but in our ability to do so, that this book would trust that with the amount of repetition that we've had across a variety of exercises, that we are getting at least somewhere, which is exciting. We could find resistance. The reason is very simple. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. Yet, perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. I'm just going to read that again because this is a paradox that I love thinking about. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. Yet perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. Okay, so what is hell? Our flawed perception, or perspective even. That we have been perceiving life through the ego's eyes. Remember, the ego is constantly using the tool of fear so that we give allegiance to it, that we must prepare for some seemingly inevitable death, that we are in conflict or combat with God, who is love and truth, in the unknown. And the ego, coming up against this love, truth, unknown, seeks to order it by seizing more control and feeling drunk with that version of power. Yet what we are doing is entering into a cycle of attacks, defending something because we believe it will be taken from us, which it will be. Everything that we are, our way of being, because we are assuming the ego's perspective, which by design is here to take care of us, and it would tell us, but is also required to die because it is simply an illusion and totally meaningless in the name of truth. So the ego here will protest. Its very fundamental nature is to try to secure control as an attempt to postpone the inevitable or prevent it, it might even seem. So if we're stripping it of its control by no longer providing our allegiance to it, no longer saying, at least for this practice period, I do not want to participate in the fact that you could be feeding me illusions. So naturally, if we are still identified with the ego, this version of us, this parasite, we the host, will begin to scream because we are slipping away from giving it power. If we're no longer feeding it energy, it will dissolve. It will evaporate. Imagine for an idea here, using the ego's lens of fear. If no one ever spoke about you ever again, what's the saying? A man has two deaths, once physical and the next when his name is uttered for the last time. That there's an idea that we just may never exist ever. That sounds kind of frightening, especially from the ego's perspective, I would assume. Here it will lose. It will always lose in the name of love, which is why it probably thinks it's always in conflict or combat with love. But what can the ego do against the unconditional? That which created all things, still divinely connected to the consciousness that is living in darkness, believing that it is seeing. What can it do? It only has a tool of fear, intoxicating us with some idea of control for power. We will leave behind everything that we now believe and everything that we have made up, because these are illusions. We have created some way of understanding the world in a search for meaning. And we are always shy of true meaning and true purpose. Otherwise, we would be done searching, I would imagine. So we will set aside everything that we believe and everything we have made up, which is everything. But this is releasing us from hell. So what is hell? Living in a place where we believe our own illusions. So even though we step away from what hell is, the opposite of living with true vision, well, from the ego's perspective, convincing us that we are building with truth even though it's false, which we could just naturally test for ourselves. If we come into another lens of vision, we can compare it. Hey, which one feels more true? Which one allows us to see through the other one? Which one settles us with ease and peace, and which one marks us with worry, shame, depression, anger? Which one would we want to live in? The ego, through this practice, is on its way to losing its identity, which it believes is hell. If you can stand aside from the ego by ever so little, you will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and its fears are meaningless. You might find it helpful to remind yourself from time to time that to reach light is to escape from darkness. To reach light is to escape from darkness. To reach light is to escape from darkness. Whatever you may believe to the contrary, God is the light in which you see. You are attempting to reach Him. We are attempting to reach God. That with true vision, we move closer to true knowledge, the realm of God. We are attempting to meet God. I thought we were learning about miracles and perceiving something differently, but this path is taking us to God. God is the light in which you see. Begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open, and close them slowly, repeating the idea several times more. Today's idea, please repeat after me. God is the light in which I see. Again, God is the light in which I see. One time together. 3, 2, 1. God is the light in which I see. We will say this with our eyes open. Then we will close them slowly, repeating the idea several times more. Then try to sink into your mind. Let's remember that the light that allows us to see is within. Try to sink into your mind, letting go every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. Your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. It's natural just to slide right past all of the distractions. It is merely taking its natural course. Yeah, okay. It's just us stopping ourselves from moving further within. Try to observe your passing thoughts without involvement and slip quietly by them. I'm reminded of an imagery one time during a meditation where it felt like I was being carried, although there was nothing carrying me. But I was sitting almost as if on a throne, moving to some destination of realization, and there were things on either side of me that were constantly asking for my attention, but you could feel their distractive, darker nature. And politely I continued. While no particular approach is advocated for this form of exercise, what is needful is a sense of the importance of which you are doing, of what you are doing. So we want to feel that it is important what we are doing. What we are doing is allowing ourselves to slip ever so gently deeper into our own minds, which is a natural process if we do not stop it, allowing the thoughts on the sides of us to simply slide by. It's inestimable, inestimable value to you, and an awareness that you are attempting something very holy. Okay? What we need is a sense of importance of what we are doing, inestimable, that it has value. And with an awareness of our holiness, we can understand that we are attempting something very holy, that it is holy and important and extremely valuable to us. To recognize this natural process, that reminds me of miracles, a natural process of allowing ourselves to sink deeper within where the light is. This is very holy. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. In the past, we'd been lured with a carrot by an idea of true happiness. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. It is also the only one that has any meaning because it is the only one that has any real use to you at all. Our salvation here, stepping into true meaning, true purpose, that which would have use to us. Salvation is our happiest accomplishment and the only one that has any meaning. If resistance rises in any form, pause long enough to repeat today's idea. God is the light in which I see. Keeping your eyes closed until you are aware of fear. Unless you are aware of fear, may I slow down here and say, God is the light in which I see. If I'm feeling resistance, I will slow down and repeat, God is the light in which I see. Unless I feel fearful. In that case, you will probably find it more reassuring to open your eyes briefly. Try, however, to return to the exercises with eyes closed as soon as possible. There is nothing to be afraid of by simply settling further inside of ourselves. But if you feel fear, open your eyes. And as soon as you are able, with ease, encourage yourself to close them again. God is the light in which I see. If you are doing the exercises correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a feeling that you are approaching, if not actually entering into light. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world. And do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. Okay, we know that it is needed to have a sense of the importance of what we are doing, that it has extreme value, that it is a holy process, because we are doing something natural that is bringing us closer to the light within, which is God. Perhaps this is the mark of God in all things. Try to think of light, formless and without limit. Formless light, no shape, and no limit. It could be infinitely expansive, even though we are settling within. Where are we going then if we reflect within and we arrive at somewhere that is full of light? And that whatever full of light means that we are initially believing that the container can be filled at all, that it has no form and it is limitless. Is a very expanding idea. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world. And do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. Okay, so we are moving closer to an idea where we can easily accept that we are creating everything around us. If we're creating everything around us, if we can accept that idea in the future, we would naturally see that we are charging these items. There are no neutral things because there are no neutral thoughts, and we are giving them permission, therefore, to bind us. This is a table, this is a bed, this is a floor. This is scary, this is bad. You should feel shame for this. You should feel trauma because of this. You should hate because of this. These things are binding us, and somehow we are letting them. Throughout the day, repeat the idea often, with eyes open or closed, as seems better to you at the time. But do not forget, above all, be determined not to forget today. Do not forget. Above all, be determined not to forget. Not just do not forget, but be determined not to forget. We are doing something very holy, very valuable. Our true purpose, to get closer to true vision. Do you not want more meaning and purpose in everything that you do? What if there was a purpose for you? What if you could feel that purpose? What if within you was an infinitely expansive, holy, loving, forgiving light? What if this allowed you to see? What if God is the light in which you see? What if? Today, 3 times for at least 3 minutes, with ease, without fear, with determination to remember to do these exercises and to actually do them, we will say out loud, God is the light in which I see. With our eyes open, we will say, God is the light in which I see. Then we will close our eyes and repeat this idea calmly. God is the light in which I see. We are reminded this is very valuable, that we recognize the importance of what we are doing, that this process is holy, that we are holy, that we have been creating with darkness, that we have been convincing ourselves that we can see, that we are stepping away from this hell, that this process could be challenging in its newness and with the resistance of the ego with which we have been identifying as it believes it is falling into hell, falling apart as we are no longer supplying it our allegiance. We are curious about being aligned with light and seeing truly with love, appreciation, and an open mind, that we are worthy of this. And so we are curious about an idea that God is the light in which I see. So I say this with my eyes open. God is the light in which I see. And then I say it with my eyes closed. God is the light in which I see. And I repeat this idea. And I allow myself to sink deeper with ease into myself. That I am moving closer to God by moving within. That this is where the light is, in which I will see. That it has no form, it is limitless, and I need not be afraid. If I find myself fearful, I will open my eyes and say, God is the light in which I see, and I will close them. I accept relaxation. I'm willing to feel or actually enter this light. Nothing else can bind me. Thoughts that I am having, busyness, pain, a sense of discomfort, that I should be rushed, that this is meaningless, that I'm scared. None of these thoughts have any power over me as I sink deeper into myself. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. God is my strength. God is the light in which I see. I am Kesten Rono, and I am curious to feel and enter God's light, to become the wavelength of love, to believe that this is a deep and valuable, important and holy part of me, that I have the ability to heal and love and forgive, that I am full of meaning and purpose, that I am connected to God and you, that we are of similar mind. God is the light in which I see, and God is the light in which you see. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 45 of A Course in Miracles, moving closer to God. Please be well.